All right, well, you can hear him breathing in the background. Hello and welcome, everyone, to the Rivals Racing League's broadcast of the RRL Offline Championship from Daytona International Speedway. I am joined today by my co-host, LT Shiny Side.
That's your, okay, well, Juan's out of the race already.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, LT.
They don't know me, then they finna find out. Nah, I'm kidding, but, if you're watching this, you can thank me because, I kind of forced him at gunpoint for like 30 minutes to tell him, say, hey, let's do this again because we haven't done it in a year. It feels so glad to be back in my seat. The windows are secure. I fell out the broadcast booth a couple of times, but everything's fine. We only have 2 cars right behind the pace car. Okay, here they come.
Somebody messed up the starting grid. Speaking of that, this is completely scuffed. I'm not even trying anymore. I'm eating while doing this, so you're probably going to hear like lip smacking sounds, but I really don't care.
You said what now?
Lip smacking. There you go. Anyway.
Right.
So here's the starting grid on the left.
Latoya is not on pole.
Yeah, he has died before the race even started, so that's lovely.
He was the only one that was smart enough to back out. Who won a championship last season? Wasn't it Robbie Gordon?
It was. He won the most races and wrecked the most cars. And tonight he is starting. Where the heck is he? He's in the back somewhere.
I just cut my finger. Ouch.
Cool. He's starting 36th. So yeah, Kevin Conway is going to be the control car, I think, although Keselowski's going to have the preferred lane.
Kevin Conway, do you remember all the jokes I made?
Yep, so many extends jokes, and you know what? Let's extend them on into Season 2. Here we go. The green flag will wave this time on a brand new season. Can Robbie Gordon keep up the consistency? We'll have to see. As they roll into the restart zone here at Daytona, the green flag is out. We're racing for the second season of the Rivals Racing League Offline Championship.
I kind of forgot to commentate, but good start here by Brad Keselowski. Newman's going to go up under him. I guess Keselowski won the outside line here. I forgot to commentate. They're going to go 3 wide already.
I'm eating a burrito right now.
Oh, what kind of burrito?
It's a homemade one. I made it myself.
Oh, really? You know how to make burritos?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know how to cook?
Yeah, I'm never mind. I ain't gonna say that. It's on broadcast.
The chef?
Sure. Anyway, we have a Roush teammate side by side. Oh, they're good.
What was that just like filled the camera frame?
I don't know. The camera gets weird off that corner. Anyway, Greg Biffle is going to power around the outside to lead a lap here at Daytona. That's an extra bonus point. Reminder, there's no chase for this. So these drivers, every race matters just as much. These drivers know every point matters as LT's having an asthma attack over there.
Sorry, I was yawning really loud. Yeah, I tried to hold it in.
Just mute your mic next time.
Oh, yeah. Remember that crash that Andy Lally had here last season?
Yep.
It was a very hard hit.
Oh, yeah, by the way, this is not the same. You can probably tell. Daytona has been updated a little bit since the last time we used it.
Perfectly clean race and did not have to go through testing numerous times. My AIs made it the first try when I showed them the ZXE.
Yeah, it's not the same one that we ran last season where they would wreck every time on, like, lap 1. So you might find it to be a little less interesting.
I think it's pretty interesting right now because it's like a ticking time bomb.
I would say that, for Season 3, we'll go back to the old one if people don't like this as much. But there ain't going to be a Season 3. There's barely a Season 2.
Well, it took us a year. Just take us another year, you know?
2023. We'll see you then.
Yeah, 2023. Anyway, so far, even with all this drama, even with all these cars lined up like this, 3 wide all the way, it's been relatively tame. Not too many really, really, like, stupidly aggressive moves.
We're going to do our first driver spotlight here, at least a little bit of one. Obviously not our ones to watch yet. By the way, we should have a 3-car booth for the next race or two. Oh, well, as I was about to talk about him, he just caused a massive wreck.
No.
Will he get out unscathed? Yes, he will. Regan Smith sets off the big one and then drives away like nothing happened.
Wait, 3-car booth? 3-car booth?
Whatever, you know what I mean. Oh, they're wrecking again.
Oh
Oh,
no!
this is the big one.
Oh no! What happened?
Oh, what in
Oh,
the world? We have had a massive one.
I just like what.
They're still racing back to the caution, by the way. There
I
is a
think.
grand total of 2 cars in the lead pack. Logano
Yeah,
is
we had.
kind of hanging around, but there was a bad wreck on
What
lap
happened?
4.
What happened? My throat really hurts right now.
All right,
Ouch.
well,
Ouch.
I was about to talk about how Regan Smith has had such an interesting season up to this, or not
Yes.
season, but last season. Had so many close calls to running well, just
Great.
never really paid out for him. He always ended up getting involved in some trouble. And today, looks like it might be more of the same, although I think this one was his fault here, as it looks like he's just going to go down a little bit into the 46, turn him up the hill, and that's going to collect the 32, 33, the 24. Robbie Gordon's involved in this, so it doesn't look like he has a whole lot of damage, but Carl Edwards and Michael Waltrip go sliding to the infield. Denny Hamlin going with them as well. Great save by Carl Edwards.
Looks like most of the cars back here, well, some of them got damaged, but not that bad of damage. Mostly because it's kind of spinning, but up front, oh boy, what happened?
Board. For our first on board of the season, let's go on board Jeff Gordon.
Why is your graphics so bad?
I don't know. Fix it for the next race.
It's just, honestly, if you spin at Daytona and if you spin in a pack at Daytona and don't get any damage, it's a good day.
There were a lot of cars back here that spun, just didn't get any damage from it.
No, it's just all like just spinning.
Yeah,
you know?
we saw even I think the 56 and the 22 got a little bit of something. Let me just see here. Did Martin Truex get something?
Oh, he was out there on the wall, so I think he may have got pinched against the wall, but nothing too major. Let's see. He checks up in time. Does he hit anything? Wow, smoke. Good job getting through. At the last second. Not that bad of damage.
Tagged by Kurt Busch. All right, so that's going to sort out the view of what happened here. But we still have to check and see what happened up front.
I was looking at that wreck, and I looked up out the booth, and I saw Bane upside down, so...
I know Junior was involved, so we'll start with him. So they're currently racing back to the caution. They know the yellow is out.
Dale Jr. Earnhardt.
Yeah, it does that. Yeah, I'll have to, once again, this is scuffed. I'll fix it later. All right, so it looks like McMurray's trying to give him some help here, and he just doesn't hit him square.
Oh, no.
That's going to turn Junior
head on into the outside wall. What a hard hit.
It takes Newman, Keselowski, Kevin Conway, all the guys up front. Junior's in the fence.
Oh, vicious hit.
Yeah, that's a very bad hit for Dale Earnhardt Jr. here. Oh, no. And then Tony Stewart hit him. I don't know if Junior's going to be here for the next race. That's
like father, like son.
That's a terrible crash. And also, you are awful for that comment, LT. All right. They wrecked even further up the straightaway. Let's see what happened on board Trevor Bayne. I'll take I'll take some slow-mo on here with this camera just to see exactly what happened to him. They wrecked right in front of him.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, no chance of making it through.
There's the camera again. Camera number 1 of this season.
Yep, we have lost this camera here.
That made me pay for most of the cameras last season.
That made you pay for everything last season.
I took it from your credit card.
Joke's on you. Mine is overdrafted. Let's go on board Kyle Busch.
Did he get through this? I don't think he did.
Kyle Busch really did. Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Okay.
Hey,
we're going to have to see that again. That was not good. Stephen Wallace.
It looked like Gordon Smiley.
That looked like Austin Dillon in the 2015 Coke Zero 400. Watch this.
He's so fast. He just what a hard hit. Goes up the hill, getting slot, and then gets yanked by the fence.
That is insane. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy that we saw.
Any chance you have a camera on Junior's car? Well, what's left of it now, but
yeah, let's see if we don't have anything for Dale Jr., but we do have the visor cam for Kevin Conway. He's wearing
Oh,
our driver visor cam for today's race, and something tells me he got quite a view of this incident.
ooh. Oh, wow.
That
Just look at the rearview mirror up there. Did you see it?
I'm gonna take a slow-mo angle at this. So I'm sorry we're using so many angles here, but look at
So,
this.
the C Junior gets turned right there, and he
Comes back
overcorrects
up the track,
up
and this is where things get ugly right here.
right there.
Up and over Kevin Conway's
And
car.
then look at the rearview mirror.
Look how
Look
many
at that.
cars drove under him.
And then once he lands right here, you're gonna see he get hit by Stewart.
Oh,
Oh, right at driver's side too.
that was a
And Bane comes to a screeching stop over there after he flipped.
that was a vicious, vicious crash for Dale Earnhardt Jr. You always hate to see wrecks like that. Well, you hate to see wrecks in general, but ones like that, you know those hurt.
How would he get hurt if he's alive?
On board Marcus Ambrose.
Not much damage to be right in the middle of that on the outs. Oh, he got hit in the back right there pretty hard.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson really did a great job of navigating through this crash. Let's go on board with him. We'll take another couple angles of this wreck. But, I mean, there's just so many cars involved here.
And then bang, look at wow, roof.
We got a really good angle of a lot of different incidents here. So let's slow this down. Jimmy Johnson once again does a great job getting through this wreck, as I mentioned earlier. So there's the first wreck. You can see Newman, Keselowski involved, Conway, Martin. But then right here, McMurray slides back up the track with Trevor Bayne. Kane gets caught by Keselowski, and he's going to go up and hit
And look
right
at this
into the
with
door
Bang.
of the 21.
In
Kyle
roof.
Busch, I think he's going to slide through here on his side. Stephen Wallace plows his way up through this crash. The 34 and the 38 involved.
Man, they're really. It's not going to be too many drivers, too many good cars left
Up
after
in
this
the
one.
air. The
Yeah,
36
that's
save it? I think he did. Same for the 87. Let's go from the rear bumper of the 87 car of Joe.
You know what?
I'm
All
sorry,
those
once
guys
again,
do
I'm sorry
that.
we're looking at so many angles here. There are just, oh my gosh. That was perhaps the best angle we could have gotten of Dale Jr.'s wreck. Watch this.
Ooh, wow. Look how high he got.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my goodness.
that's the best angle we could have gotten right there.
You know what, though?
McMurray just slammed into the wall at the last second there, but
I think all the drivers in the back pretty happy that Regan Smith wrecked them.
yeah, I mean, it's much better. Guys like Gordon and Boyer, they just spun. They didn't really get a lot of damage, but Tony Stewart avoids this one, does not get so lucky the next time around.
Did Tony Stewart not see him or what? Because he just stays in it.
I think this is one of the dangers of racing back to the caution. I mean, look at the, oh my gosh, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oh yeah, he couldn't see him. He couldn't see him. And there goes the, we have something left of a camera. Let's look at this in slow-mo again. Watch the 88 car.
You can't check up that fast.
He gets engulfed in the smoke. Watch
And then
this.
driver side, too.
Over the catch fence. He was above the catch fence. But look at this. You can't tell where he is. He's trying to follow Matt Kenseth. And by the time he can react to where Dale Jr. is, drive straight in.
154 or greater ran to the side of him.
Then he goes up and over. And then lands on all four tires. Ryan Newman involved. So both Stewart-Haas cars involved in this terrible incident here on the back straightaway. Well, not even just the back straightaway. It's almost the whole track. Bobby Labonte involved. I mean, I don't really know if we can have a list of cars that weren't involved in this wreck. We're going to have to make a list of them. But other than the guys in the back here who crashed, I can't really think of, and of course Greg Biffle and, you know, Montoya, who didn't even start the race, who had won the pole originally. I would normally skip ahead, but I need to see here just how many cars are on the track as the pits are open.
Biffle? What are you...
I have no idea what Greg Biffle is doing, as many cars are coming to pit road to fix the damage. But
I'm not sure. Is he having a problem or?
we saw Montoya have an issue before the race started, and Greg Biffle might be having one right now. Meanwhile, let's go see some of these drivers on pit road.
What does the damage look like? Junior, nice to see Junior get out of the car under his own power.
87 with damage here. Montoya has rejoined the race. Jimmy
Junior was holding.
Johnson.
Junior was holding his arm, so I'm not sure if he's injured or not. But it's good
Oh
to see
my
him get out.
gosh. Okay. Wait a minute. We got to take it back and watch the pit entry from Joey Logano here. All right, so he's going to try to leave his pit as McMurray's entering his. That's going to cause some problems. McMurray completely misses his stall, reverses back into Logano. So Joey's going to do the same thing again with the 47, and then he's just going to drive into the back of Junior and knock him almost out of his stall.
Wow,
Interesting
chaos.
pit exit from Joey Logano there. But a lot
Chaos.
of cars that came in topped off maybe. Robbie Gordon's still in this one. And Greg Biffle is still driving around on the apron.
What is wrong with that 16 car? Any reports?
I'm not hearing anything, but okay, so Montoya is 3 laps down. So that pretty much ends his race in terms of cars that he can pass. But that does not... Oh, is Biffle coming to pit road? He is. I imagine he's having some sort of issue with that machine, but that is a very tough break for him, as we will be getting ready to go green this time by. Actually, no, we will not.
We were running laps, but Greg Biffle was pretty fast on these opening laps.
Yeah, these Roush cars are always fast whenever we go to Daytona. Now we've got pole sitter Juan Pablo Montoya up front. We know he's fast. Let's see if we can't check. Biffle's back in the race. He went to the back of the field, so clearly ailments for that 16 car. That's going to send him to the back, but not take him out of this one just yet. We have a long way to go here at Daytona. We already have many cars out of the race.
Still amazed with all the cars we have left after that crash, but green flag back in the air. We're back on the way at Daytona. Still amazed with all the good-looking cars we have after that wreck. It's a lot of decent cars. We're starting to shuffle and move around a lot. Andy Lally and Jeff Burton on the outside there. David Ruderman is looking to give Montoya a push.
This is a very, very spread out field right now.
It is.
I wonder if the guys in the back will be able to hang on to the draft. We know that with this package, the field gets spread out very quickly.
David Ruderman's best bet is to try to push Montoya to the front right now because
Uh-oh, did LT fall out the window again?
You might have to do this one solo. I'm gonna have to handle something.
All right, well, LT I think is going to handle the gang violence happening just outside the booth. So we wish him luck here, as I will take over solo commentary while I eat my burrito. In the meantime, while Pablo Montoya is trying to gain back one of the 3 laps that he lost, if caution were to come out now, he'd pick one of those up. But he's got some help from the 22. David Reagan around the outside with help from the 00. But it doesn't look like that's going to really work, as he just really doesn't have the help that he needs. And Kurt Busch giving a big push to the 42, as now he's going to dive low and look for the lead. As 2 packs have formed up here. We have the lead pack, and then Paul Menard's just kind of barely hanging on to this draft. AJ Allmendinger in the middle of no man's land, and then we have this group. Oh, as the 36 is having some sort of problem. He obviously has an engine failure, but also got into the outside wall there, as now he is slow in the racing line. Well, now he's getting up out of the way, but major problems for the 36. I wonder if it had to do with the damage he obtained from that earlier incident, but very tough break for him, as this second pack is going slightly slower than the lead group, as Clint Boyer might get turned here. 38's not exactly centered on that push. Now he's much closer to the middle of the rear bumper for the 33 car. But yeah, they're going about 6 mile an hour slower than the lead draft, who is going about 190 something on the straightaways. As now Jeff Burton has the lead with help from the 71 of Andy Lally. Still a very, very, very long race to go in Daytona. We might have gotten the big one out of the way, although I highly doubt we're done wrecking, but once again, long way to go here in this race at Daytona. Well, while I'm by myself here in the commentary booth as LT handles the issues going on outside the booth, I'd like to, I know I said this in the intro, but welcome you guys to the new season of the Rivals Racing League Offline Championship. You'll notice there's a lot of similarities between this and last season. Same points format, a lot of the same tracks on the schedule, though some adjustments have been made, specifically to tracks like Langley to make the racing slightly more caution-free, although Lord knows we're not going to get anything like that at Langley, at least not until a quarter of the field has been carved out due to numerous incidents. But I'm really looking forward to recording this season and broadcasting this season of the Rivals Racing Offline Championship. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy the content here. I know I haven't been uploading very consistently and haven't been uploading a lot just in general. There's a lot of series I've been wanting to get to, and I just haven't had the time or, quite frankly, the motivation to do so. But I'm here. I'm recording this. Hopefully I'll get around to editing this. And I hope you guys enjoy this race as much as I know I will. So back to the action here. Andy Lally out front. He's coming back from a big crash in the season opener last season to running up front here today. Although, as we saw earlier in this race, running up front does not necessarily mean that you will not be involved in a big incident. Fan favorite Dale Earnhardt Jr. out of the race early with a major crash. Oh, and as I say major crash, they're wrecking again. Jeff Burton, Paul Menard, Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Juan Pablo Montoya. Oh, the second pack's coming up in a hurry. Oh, and we have a vicious, vicious crash as they race back to the caution. That might be worse than what we saw earlier. Craig Biffle's back up to 6th. I believe Gordon now has some damage. That was not pretty, as Mike Joy would say. Let's go back and watch what happened. Looks like Juan Pablo Montoya was trying to make a move on the 31. Maybe he couldn't quite decide if he wanted to make that move or not. Clipped him in the quarter panel. And then this is going to send the 31 back up the track with the 15 in tow. The 48 and the 9 will pinch these cars up against the outside wall. Menard's going to drive into it. Gordon's going to drive into it. Have pretty heavy contact with the 22. But things are not done yet. I will take a look at the onboards of 2 of the drivers that did avoid the wreck before we, were slightly involved in the wreck before we move on. Here's onboard the 24 of Jeff Gordon. And now we'll go on board the 00. So those two, they got the least of it. But we were not done wrecking. Let's focus here on the guys behind the leaders. Smoke everywhere on the front straightaway. You're going to want to pay attention to 2 drivers in particular, the 32 and the 43. The 43 is going to run into his teammate, Marcus Ambrose. with a very, very bad hit. These guys are approaching at over 180 miles an hour, approaching cars that are dead stopped. I know I'm using slow-mo here. It might not look like this big of an impact, but these were terrible hits. Oh, and there might have been even more back here. I didn't see this. Stephen Wallace rear-ends the back of J.J. Yeley, but this is not good. We have 2 potential incidents due to racing back to the caution, but this one might be worse. Look at the speeds on Bobby Labonte, or Terry Labonte, sorry. 185. Now he slows down. 175 miles an hour into the back of Jimmy Johnson. Let's look at this full speed so you can tell just how little reaction time he had. But that was a huge hit. That was an absolutely massive hit. Let's go on board Clint Boyer. That was awful. I know I'm just using the same descriptors for basically every time I talk about this wreck, but this wreck was, oh my gosh. Matt Kenseth gets punted into the wall, and look at all the damage on his front end because of that crash. But once again, he got the least of it. Let's go on board AJ Allmendinger. This was a very violent hit here for the 43 car. Then Kyle Busch almost runs into him. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this. You know, I was kind of worried that this season would be almost a repeat of last season, but this is not even close. This is an insane wreck that we did not see anything like this last season. I mean, you can just see how high Marcus Ambrose went in the air. That was a very, very, very bad hit. Let's look at the spectator camera up here on the grandstands. We're going to watch this full speed. Might be tough to watch. I mean, he knocks Ambrose into the air like his car weighs nothing. And look at this. He's going to fly into the back of the 15 and the 27. He's going to launch over Paul Menard. Let's look at some of these other angles. Stephen Wallace. Great camera angle here. Ends up actually making contact with the 46 car after all of this. But, I mean, that's incredible that we saw somebody hit like that. Go from the rear bumper of Paul Menard here in just a moment. I had forgotten that Jimmy Johnson was even involved in this wreck. Did Jimmy Johnson get hit again? Oh yeah, he was the one who got hit by the 32. These two didn't happen to run into anyone, did they? Nope. So we have race leader Andy Lally. Let's see pit stops here. Almost the whole field coming down pit road. It's kind of weird that Paul Menard would, or I mean, the 42 of Montoya wouldn't take the wave around, although I know he has damage now, but Kevin Conway and a couple other drivers stayed out. Let's watch the pit cycle here. Race off pit road. Andy Lally going to beat Martin Truex Jr. Jeff Gordon, who was also involved in that wreck, he's now technically up front. Let's look at this insane running order right now. Kevin Conway back to the front. He was involved in the first wreck. Oh, as now he's coming down pit road to get his service. Looks like Montoya also stayed a little bit longer on pit road, maybe trying to repair that car a little bit more. As now we get set for green, Montoya is going to be up front again. We are still not even halfway. And we have already seen the field effectively cut in half. And many of the cars that remain have relatively significant damage. As the green flag is back out at Daytona. You can see Montoya does have significant damage to that car now. And that's going to trap Jeff Gordon and anyone on the inside lane behind him. Although, never mind, it seems like Andy Lally is just getting going faster than the rest of the field. Yeah, Montoya's slowing here is now Kyle Busch getting around the 77. This is going to drag the 83 and the 99 with them. And possibly the 20 if they can get things sorted out. Andy Lally is way out front. As it looks like this group might just break away from the rest of the field, due to how slow some of these drivers are at the back with damage, like Juan Pablo Montoya. Yeah, these guys are really, really losing touch with the leader. Biffle, with help from his teammate in the 6, looking to go up and challenge for the race lead. Now Reagan's going to try to get around his teammate. Defending champion Robbie Gordon looking to move up into the top 5 here with the pass on Martin Truex Jr. Should put him up in the 5th place. Montoya still well off the pace. Drafting back here with the 99 of Carl Edwards and the 18 of Kyle Busch, who I think might have the pace to be with the lead group. Just can't get around this 42 car. So we look up here. Truex, after getting past, is now falling back. Greg Biffle back to the race lead here. He, with help from his teammate, is doing really well, although they almost wreck. Get turned onto the apron there. That's going to check the rest of the field up and allow some of the drivers a little further back to start maybe catching up. As you can see, Carl Edwards is not going much slower than this group ahead, but he just needs some help, and he's probably going to need one more caution before he can get back up to the leaders, as these three have broken away from the rest of the field, who is going considerably slower. Oh, Montoya's going to get turned. He's going to save it. What a save there from Montoya. We have this group up here trying to run down the top 3. Seem to have about the same pace. Martin Truex Jr. struggling to stay with them. I don't think he's going to. He's pretty quickly losing that group. Carl Edwards is actually pulled away without any drafting help from these cars behind him. So there's a chance we see a second pack form, and that's going to have to happen quickly if they have any plans to catch the leaders. Look at this, Robbie Gordon in form, rolling straight into this season with a lot of speed, was involved in a wreck very early. Didn't seem to get any meaningful damage on that car. It's now running in the 4th place position, trying to catch the top 3 as they go 3 wide for the top spot here in turns 1 and 2. Approaching the halfway point in just a couple of laps here. As time by, we have, I believe, 26 laps to go as, oh, I thought they'd wrecked again, but never mind, they're just this far back. Look at the gap between 8th and 7th place as Truex continues to try to tag on to the draft of the 78 and the 24, although, like I said before, I don't think that's going to work for him. He's probably going to fall back to this group at some point. Although now Carl Edwards seems to be holding this group up as he's starting to lose momentum pretty quickly. But they've gotten grouped up back here, but the leaders need to be concerned that this might bring out a caution. Although it seems like the 7, the 24, and the 78 are not letting the leaders get away from them. They're still holding strong here as 78's going to try to give Gordon a push. Now he's going to go for the pass down the back straightaway. Let's look at the backfield here. This is still a battle for a top 10 position, by the way. As we look further back at some of the drivers who have lost the draft again, we have the 46, the 90, the 97 who've been involved in crashes today. But now back up to the front. These 3 continue to trade off the lead as they're holding serve against the 3 cars behind them. It appears Jeff Gordon has the fastest of those cars as he's worked his way up in front of this group and is now maybe pulling away from them with little to no drafting help. As we see the 57 back, or 56 of Truex is losing time. He will probably end up falling back to this group as they battle pretty hard for these positions inside the top 10. It'll be interesting to see because I wonder if this group, should they get enough help, like maybe Martin Truex Jr. leading them, because he very obviously has a fast car, just lost the draft there. If he can get grouped up with these drivers, with Carl Edwards and the 83 car of Brian Vickers and the 18 of Kyle Busch, then there's a chance that they could try to run down the leaders as this group of 3 trying to run down these guys. I think these 3 are actually pulling away from Smith and Gordon and, well, both Gordons here. So now we are halfway here at Daytona. Greg Biffle pushes his teammate David Reagan out to the lead down the back straightaway. Yeah, I believe they are slowly pulling away from these 3 drivers behind them. Now Greg Biffle back for the lead. There really isn't much to talk about with this front group as they are continuing to trade off positions. Same for this group back here. Just consistently a few mile an hour slower as it appears they've now finally lost that lead draft and they really don't seem all that interested in grouping up. But this is the most interesting group, especially Jeff Burton. He was one of those cars that was involved in the massive, massive incident that we saw with cars driving into cars that were basically stopped. I think he might actually be one of the cars that got hit into. And, the spoilers kind of ducked out of the air. It might not be handling all that well, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him too terribly much, as he's doing a pretty good job of staying with this group as Truex will eventually fall back to them. As this group is much slower than the top few. As it looks like the Roush teammates might ditch Andy Lally here. We've got a long way to go before we reach lap traffic. Well, now they're certainly not going to ditch Andy Lally, but they could have if they had stayed single file. We're seeing the kind of a weird, not necessarily tandem package, but it definitely appears like you don't really need more or many cars to go a whole lot faster as Carl Edwards is trying to catch up to the back of Martin Truex Jr. here for 7th place. This is double file behind him. Like I said before, the biggest issue for the leaders, at least, This group right here is a caution coming out. They have, they've ditched these guys behind them. They're gone. Consider like running like almost second a lap faster every lap. So their biggest concern is getting a caution, which could happen. I don't see it happening from any of the front six, but the group behind them is what I'm worried about as they go 3 wide. Oh, 87, watch out. Yeah, he's fine. Maybe I'm just hearing the ghosts of the cars that have already crashed out of this race, but I swear I saw some smoke and heard some squealing tires, but maybe I'm wrong. Here we are as this group continues to race very hard. They have finally caught up to Martin Truex Jr., because now he's going to be racing with the rest of these guys in the back, probably for much of this race, unless we see a caution flag here in a moment, as now Stephen Wallace takes it 3 wide on the inside of the 42. Big run here by the 83 of Brian Vickers. Man, this is pretty interesting pack here, but the leaders are definitely very, very obviously faster in this group. I would say even if we get a caution, I don't see anyone besides maybe the 56 of Truex being able to stay with them, but even these 3 couldn't stay with the leaders. Remember, these 3 have all been in a crash today. I think this group right here, these 3 drivers, might be the only 3 to have not been involved in a wreck all day. I might be wrong on that, but I believe even Truex got in the wall earlier in this race. So I believe every car in the field has been involved in a crash at some point in this race besides these 3. And that's all before we even reached halfway. So I guess it makes sense that these 3 drivers would have, gapped the rest of the field considerably. But this could get interesting. They're approaching lap cars. If these 3 aren't careful, there's a possibility that they will lose the leaders. Like right here with Robbie Gordon. There's a chance that, or not Robbie Gordon, sorry, the 71 of Andy Lally. If he does not get through this group, it's very obvious the 2 Roush cars are the fastest in the field. The 16 and the 6 are very obviously faster than the rest of the field. So while he can stick with them, he almost loses the draft whenever they get around him. So he's got to be very careful about getting around these lap cars in a way where he won't lose the draft. Although now I think both cars are going to get stuck. Depending on how long they get stuck, this could be huge for this group. Now they're going easily 10 mile an hour faster. But they might have just lost too much time, but I don't really see anywhere these guys can go. They're double file in front of them. Unless somebody forces the issue here. Joey Logano up the road from them. We'll see how this goes. These guys, we'll see how much faster this time by they are. Greg Biffle runs a 50.1. Let's see what these drivers run. Although now they aren't even packed up tight. A 48.5, so over a second and a half faster for the second group. But Andy Lally's going to try up the middle. Like I said, this is going to be big for anyone who gets around this. Oh, and this is huge for Andy Lally. Oh, never mind. He might get his doors blown off here. Yeah, these guys in the second pack, they lost their chance there. They really needed to stay grouped up because now the Roush teammates are bumper to bumper. And Biffle is giving the 6 a huge run up to the back bumper of Andy Lally. Yeah, that time by these guys not much faster. Leaders already going faster than them. Back up to the 90s. They're going to blow right around Joey Logano. David Ragan had to check up a little bit there. Approaching 15 laps to go. This time by. But this is what I was talking about with the possibility of losing the lead draft. It seems like these three will stay together. But you know, it could have been bad for one of them. They all got through at a pretty good time for them. They had one driver get through first and the other two drafted up to him. They could have lost the draft there, as now they're going to have to check up for Andy Lally. Now Biffle's going to try to get around both of them. Let's see if that's going to work. He's going to fire it up the inside of Andy Lally here. Lally will give him room. Yeah, and they're not going to catch the next group of lap traffic, although it's this big group right here that if anyone's going to bring out a caution, it's going to be these guys. Because once again, we still have quite a few laps left here in this race, here at Daytona. Well, rip Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon just said, screw it. He's going to go 3 wide to try to get around these guys. Now Regan Smith will follow him. So they're going to have to draft up to the back of Andy Lally here. Not Andy Lally. Robbie Gordon. Sorry about that. Had a Marty Reed moment. Back up to the lead. Still the same 3 faces we've seen just about the whole race. It's really interesting because while David Ragan and to some extent Andy Lally have been up at the front pretty much the whole race, Greg Biffle, he started up front, pitted after seeming to have some sort of issue with the car, and now he's back up here battling for the lead because he got around that big wreck. Also, side note here, I have no idea how long these guys can go on 1 tank of gas, so they might just be clear to the end, but they might not be. We'll have to see, but there's a chance that they can't make it to the end of this race. Also, I said this group probably is not going to get lapped. I might be wrong on that front. I didn't think I would be, but they're going a consistent 2 seconds a lap faster, or slower, sorry, than the race leader. So, There's a chance, as the 6 is currently pulling away from these two. We'll see if that stays. As forgot to mention it, but this time by 9 laps of racing to go from Daytona here for the season opener. The ending of this race is really boiled down to just these 3 drivers, but man, did we see a very interesting beginning. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen another caution yet. Like, I'll be quite honest. Yeah, I don't think these guys are going to get lapped, but it's a very slight possibility. But now, as we watch here, remember, if a caution comes out with 5 or less laps to go, unless, of course, it's the last lap, then the race is over. It's now Greg Biffle going for the lead on the 6 car. Time by will be 7 laps to go for David Reagan. What a showing for Roush. We have the 17 car, I believe, out of the race with damage, and then Carl Edwards, having been, I think, involved in multiple wrecks back here, holding down the fort, racing for a top 10. But the 6 and the 16 have really, really done a great job all race. 16 especially, with his recovery up to the front. It's been really fun to watch these two. As fast as they've been, and I imagine that they will, both take home a podium position, barring a caution or some incident here towards the end of this race. So it's really going to be interesting to see what these drivers do here as we approach the end. Obviously, they're teammates; they might work together a little bit. I doubt it. Obviously, it's a win at Daytona, and they both probably want that. But also once again, they might catch these lap cars. I really hope that doesn't happen, because that's really going to affect the finish. But as things go on, there's a pretty high likelihood now, I think, that they're going to catch these guys. And if they do, it's going to be insane. If there were another, 5 laps after this, if it was a 55-lap race, then things could get interesting, because these guys in the back, never mind, they're about half the track behind them. But these guys going 192, lapping 46 nines. These guys are going about 182, so about 10 mile an hour slower, lapping over 2 seconds slower every lap. Now, the gap here is a good 10 seconds, but we're coming around this time for 5 to go. And, 5 laps, 2 seconds a lap is 10 seconds, so if they catch them, it's going to be at the last possible second. But there is a slight chance that they catch these guys. I doubt it. I said very doubtful, but there's a chance. And I hope that doesn't happen, because that's really going to throw the finish out of whack. Although these guys have actually lost the pack, which has started going slightly faster now. The 56, the 99, and the 83 are pulling away from the rest of these guys. And if these two lose the draft, that is not good for the race leaders. It'll be 4 to go this time by. By the way, if a caution comes out now, race would be over. These guys are actually going to catch this group. Uh-oh. The worst possible scenario would be if this group catches this group, and then the back group catches, the leaders catch them. Although these guys are going to really drop off pace once they lose the lead pack here. Well, now the leaders are pulling away. They're actually going considerably faster now. But still, 2 seconds slower. Oh, and here we go. Carl Edwards versus Martin Truex. So it looks like everybody that's in the top 10 is almost guaranteed a spot, except for Kyle Busch. He and the 31 are probably going to go at it here, as he's starting to lose the lead draft. Or the leaders of his pack. But yeah, I think they're going to catch him. It'll be 3 to go this time. Biffle with the move on Andy Lally. We saw Andy Lally almost lose the draft pretty much every time he got past. So will he be able to, have enough momentum here towards the end of the races? Uh-oh. Jeff Burton's coming down pit road. They might not have enough gas. Maybe he didn't save. Maybe this is what this group was doing the whole time, is Jeff Gordon must have come down pit road. He did. Jeff Gordon came down pit road. He did not have enough gas. Can these three make it? They've been running considerably faster. They are going actually much faster than anyone else on the track, so they've been burning more gas. Oh, no. Are these guys seriously 3 wide? Oh, this could get ugly. This could be one stupid finish here at Daytona. Fuel mileage, not 1, but 2 sets of lap traffic here. Oh, yeah, we've got pit stops. None of the leaders are pitting, but this is really going to mess up Biffle. Never mind, he's going to jump to the bottom. But now they've got to deal with Kurt Busch. Uh-oh, Andy Lally, I think, is going to get stuck behind him. He is. Andy Lally, why are you not going high? Oh, I think that just ended. I think that ended Andy Lally's chances here. He's not getting around Kurt Busch, but never mind. These guys have to get by the super slow lap cars. Oh my gosh, is Biffle going to win because of this? Oh, but Andy Lally's going to have a chance at this. I thought he was done. And will any of them have to pit? Will they run out of gas? It'll be the white flag this time by. Biffle's pitting, and Reagan's pitting. Does Andy Lally have the fuel to make it? White flag is out. I think everybody pit besides Andy Lally. They did. Everyone has pit besides Andy Lally. And Lally is not slowing down. Andy Lally didn't make much noise last season, except for his big crash at Daytona while battling for the win. He's battled through the lap traffic, through multiple major incidents, and it looks like he's going to have enough gas. He has put pretty much the entire field a lap down. And as he comes off turn 4 for the final time, Andy Lally is going to win a wacky race at Daytona. And I don't even know who got second. I think it's going to be David Reagan. It's not over. Oh, it is for Reagan. Well, no, I think he's on the last lap. But he's like stuck behind him. Well, as he comes to the start-finish line, David Reagan looks like he's going to pick up a second-place finish here at Daytona. Third will be Greg Biffle. And Martin Truex Jr. picks up a top 4 after not having to come down pit road. And to round out our top 5 is Kurt Busch. Joe Nemechek, involved in an early wreck, is going to get 6th. Robbie Gordon will be 7th, the defending champion. Then Regan Smith in 8th. Jeff Gordon will take home a top 10 in 9th place. Kyle Busch rounds out that top 10. Here's your official finishing order here. Andy Lally wins by 36 seconds. Kevin Conway blew up before the end of the race. It's pretty funny. Look how many cars were out. Jeez. Total of 17 cars finished the race. Only 3 on the lead lap. Man, what a strange, strange race here at Daytona. There's nothing else to call it. Here's a full finishing order here. But yeah, very, very, very weird race that we have seen so far today. Well, not so far, it's over, but man, that was interesting. I've never seen anything like this before. What a race to return to. That was crazy. Andy Lally, yeah, I mean, I would say it's a dominating victory. He and the other 3 drivers that ran up front all day did a great job. Crazy that Martin Truex and Kurt Busch got in the top 5. I did not see that coming at all. Yeah, Carl Edwards 11th, Stephen Wallace 12th, then Vickers, Burton. Yelly brings home the top 15 with that damaged machine. Here's your standings after just one race. I've said earlier, there's no chase, no playoffs, no resets, no nothing like that. It's just a straight up boys have at it run to the finish. Andy Lally picks up the win, but David Reagan is going to have enough points to tie him out. So those two sit at the top of the points grid. And man, we've already got some pretty big points gaps as things go further down into the field. Well, the next race for the Rivals Racing League Offline Championship is the Death 70 at Daytona Road Course. This is going to be one interesting race. If you saw the what was it? The Levi Strauss race, Strauss, however you pronounce it, race last season. It's like that, but on a road course. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this race today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.